case of as I told in the previous case, so we are going to have your rate of spontaneous emission is nothing but the number of atoms that will undergo transition from E2 to E1 per second through spontaneous emission. Okay, this has to be through spontaneous emission, because there are two different ways with that your atom can transit from E2 to E1, or lower energy higher energy level to lower energy level. So we need to be specific. Okay, so this is by spontaneous emission. So in that case, you are not giving any extra energy. So this rate of spontaneous emission is directly proportional to N2. Okay, and then if I want to remove this proportionality symbol, I bring a constant which is A21 and N2. Okay, so again A refers to spontaneous. So if I'm using A, that means it is spontaneous process. Okay, and if I'm using B, then it is induced or it is stimulated. Okay, so as you can see here, the atom is jumping from second energy level to first energy level. So it will be 2-1. 2-1 means your atom is jumping from higher energy level to lower energy level. Okay, so then this A21 is called as Einstein coefficient of rate of spontaneous emission. Okay, so these are the Einstein coefficients. Next, what we have, the last one is your rate of stimulated emission. So what is this rate? Rate means the number of atoms that transit from a higher energy level to lower energy level. Okay, higher to lower energy level per second by stimulated emission. Okay, so as emission can be two different things, you need to specify this stimulated emission. So then when do you have more, when you can expect a higher rate of stimulated emission is when you have more number of atoms in higher energy level. Okay, so when you have that is your N2, when N2 is high, then you can expect more number of or more higher rate of stimulated emission, and also you are giving energy, external energy, so you should have U of nu. Okay, so this rate of stimulated emission is directly proportional to N2 and also U of nu. I remove this proportionality symbol, bring in a constant which is your Einstein coefficient of rate of stimulated emission, and here you can see I'm writing as B21. B21 means it is induced, and 21 means the atom is jumping from second energy level to first energy level. Okay, so now what I will do is we will go further with Einstein theory. Okay, so you have to remember these three equations. That is rate of stimulated emission is equation number 3, rate of spontaneous emission is equation number 2, and also there is one more equation number 1 which is rate of induced absorption. Okay, so we will write that again in the next slide. Okay, but before that, what I will do, I'll just so we need to have a derivation, so that is why I'll just do this as I normally do it regularly. Okay, so I'll just put make it as two different entities, or just dividing it into two parts. Now we will go to the derivation. Okay, so equation for energy density. Okay, so this is the equation for energy density in terms of your Einstein's coefficients. Okay, so what are the Einstein coefficients you have? How many number of Einstein coefficients do you have? Can anyone tell? How many number? So you have one for induced absorption, one for stimulated emission, one for spontaneous emission. So there are three Einstein coefficients. So which are your B12, A21 and B21. So these are your Einstein coefficients. Okay, so now what we will get is we will try to find an equation or expression. Okay, expression or equation for energy density. So what is your energy density? Energy density is your U of nu. Okay, so you should get U of nu in terms of your Einstein coefficient. Okay, So you need to get equation for or the expression for your energy density, which is your U of nu, in terms of your Einstein equation, which is nothing but B12, A21, and B21. Okay, so that is the main aim of this derivation. So for this, what we'll do is, so if you take any atom, so if you make any atom, uh, then what you do induced absorption. Then what happens? This is going to go to excited state. Okay, so so the first part is your induced absorption. You take an atom which is in ground state and you make it to undergo induced absorption, and then what happens? This atom will go to the excited state. But if you take any atom, it always likes to come back to ground state, because that is the stable state. It will not like to be in excited state. It will always likes to come back to ground state. For this, there are two processes. The first process is it will just come down to ground state by spontaneous emission, and then the second process is you again give some energy and make this atom to come down to ground state with emission of 2 photons. Okay, so the first process is your spontaneous, and the second process is your stimulated. Okay, so this is your spontaneous process, this is your stimulated process. So normally these are the things which is occurring, okay, so which are happening. So if you take any atom at equilibrium, so at equilibrium means at equilibrium the atom should be in ground state. Okay, the atom should be in ground state. That means it should be in a stable state, in a stable or ground state. Okay, so so for this, what is the condition is the number of upward transition should be equal to number of downward transition. Okay, so only then you can expect the atom to be in ground state. Okay, so that means if I take like 10 if I take 10 atoms, okay, so I will make 5 atoms to go to the excited state. Then what happens? If I want to have all 10 atoms to be in ground state, then you should have 5 atoms to undergo downward transition. Okay, only then what happens? All the 10 atoms will be in ground state. Or if I make all the 10 atoms to go to ground excited state, then what happens? All these 10 atoms has to come down to ground state. Only then you can have a stable, all 10 to be in stable or ground state. So for this, if I take any atom and if I make this atom to go to excited state, they should be equal and equal number of downward transition. Okay, so that is the meaning of this equation. Okay, the number of upward transition should be equal to the number of downward transitions. Okay, so is it fine? Is it clear up to this? Is it clear? So now, how many number of which are the transitions that is responsible for upward transition? So you have learned 3 different transitions. The first one is induced absorption. So in induced absorption, what happens? You have E2 and E1, right? So the atom, you are going to give some energy to the atom, which is in the ground state, and you will make it to go to the excited state. Okay. So then in spontaneous, what happens? You have E2, already the atom is in excited state. Then what happens? It will just after some time, so after 10 raised to minus 8 seconds, what will happen? This is going to come down to ground state by giving out 1 photon. And then there is stimulated emission. So in case of stimulated emission, what happens? So there is already a atom in the excited state. Then you give some more energy. This is before 10 raised to minus 8 seconds. Okay, so this is after 10 raised to minus 8, and then this is before 10 raised to minus 8. So then what happens? This atom is going to come down to ground state by giving out 2 photons. Okay, so now if I want to have the balance of this equation, the equation which I wrote here, So if I want to have this equation to be valid, then what is the condition is you should have what is the condition? The condition is number of upward transition should be equal to number of downward transition. Which process is giving more or which is the process that is giving upward transition? Upward transition means the atom is going to the excited state or higher energy level. So this is nothing but induced absorption, right? Correct. So this is your induced absorption. So if I need to have rate of induced absorption, that is the only process which is making the atom to go to excited state. This should be equal to the downward transitions. So downward transition, there are two downward transition. What is the two downward? Spontaneous and also your you also have spontaneous and stimulated. Okay, so the upward transition should be equal to the sum of these two transitions. Okay, only then what happens, you will have equal number of downward transitions, because some atoms may undergo spontaneous emission, some atom may undergo stimulated emission. Okay, so that is the reason if I want to have the upper equation to be valid, then what is the condition is the rate of induced absorption should be equal to the sum of rate of spontaneous emission and the rate of stimulated emission. Okay, so only then you can have the atom to be in stable state. So I will just explain you why. So let us take, there are 10 atoms which are in ground state. You make 10 atoms to go to the excited state. Okay, so how do you do this? You give 10 number of photons, and then what will happen, it will go to the all 10 atoms will undergo induced absorption, and then uh, it will go to the excited state. But now if I give only like 6 photons, then what happens, six atoms will undergo so there are 6 atoms which would undergo stimulated emission, but there are still 4 more atoms which are in excited state. So these 4 atoms will undergo spontaneous emission. Okay, because after 10 raised to minus 8 seconds, all these atoms should come down to ground state. So now you can see that if I want to have all 10 atoms to come down to ground state, then it is 6 atoms undergoing stimulated emission and 4 atoms undergoing spontaneous emission. So that is the reason. So if I want to have all the atoms to be in ground state, then it is the sum of your spontaneous emission and of the stimulated emission. Okay, spontaneous and stimulated emission. So that is the reason we write this. Okay, so now this is your equation. So this will be the starting equation. Now what you do is you are going to use your equation number 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, using 1, 2 and 3. So 1 is the equation which gives the rate of induced absorption. 2 is the equation that would give rate of spontaneous emission, and 3 is the equation that will give rate of stimulated emission in terms of Einstein coefficient, because we want u of nu in terms of Einstein coefficient. So we need to use these equations in Einstein coefficient. Okay, so now what will happen, I think, okay, let me check, I can write here. Okay, so this rate of induced absorption, if you go back and see it, it will be like B12 N1 into U of nu. Okay, so then what is your spontaneous emission? Spontaneous emission is N2 A21 A21 N2. A means it is spontaneous. 2-1 is atom is jumping from first energy level to second energy level, and spontaneous emission just depends only on N2. And then in the same way, if you take the rate of stimulated emission, it will be B21 N2 U of nu. Okay, so B21 is your Einstein coefficient. B refers to stimulated. 2-1 refers to the atom jumping from second energy or higher energy to lower energy. Okay, and then N2 is population of higher energy level. U of nu is the energy density. So now this is what you get. What I will do is I will take all U of nu on one side and rest on the other side. Okay, so I have u of nu in two terms, this term and this term. So I will bring this to the left hand side. Okay, so I'm going to take it to the left hand side, and I'm just going to rewrite this equation. So what happens here is, okay, so you will have b1 to n1 u of nu plus b21 n2 u of nu will be equal to your a21 n2. Okay, so that is the equation. I just rewriting those things. Okay, so I'm keeping some in the left, some in the right. Okay, so now if you go, if you see here, I can take common as u of nu. Okay, so u of nu is common in both the terms. So I will write it outside. U of nu into b1 to n1 plus b21 n2 will be equal to your a21 n2. Okay, so now what I do is I keep only u of nu, because my aim is I need to get the equation for u of nu. So I will keep it in the left hand side. I will send everything else to the right hand side. Okay, so this is this entire thing divided by b1 to n1 plus b21 n2. Okay, so I want to get rid of n1 n2 as much as I can. Okay, so for that what I will do is I will take n2 common. Okay, so n2 common in the denominator, and I'm just going to rewrite again. Okay, so u of nu equals a21 n2, so divided by n2, I am going to take it common. So what you get is you will have so in this term there is no n2, so I have to just divide it by n2. Then this term I already take the common factor. Okay, so now n2 n2 would get cancelled out, and if you remember, so the Boltzmann, or we will do one more step. Okay, so what I will do, I will just take b1 to
Sir,
common.
sir,
Yes,
when B21 is coming to the sir left hand side, sir, it should be in minus, no?
yes, sorry. Okay, thank you. So it should be minus. I think yes. So this yeah, so here it is fine. So from here I need to put as minus. So this is minus, this is minus, this is also minus, and the last one is also minus. Okay, thank you. Okay, so just I will make that correction. Okay, so as you're taking it to the left hand side, this would become minus, and then again this will become minus. So I'm just writing that again, and then this is also minus. So now I will, what I will do is I will just take only your b2 b12 common. Okay, so if I take b12 common, then I'm just going to rewrite it. U of nu equals a12 divided by this entire term. Okay, divided by b12 into, you have n1 by n2 minus b21 by b12. Okay, so this is your equation. So again, still we need to get rid of this n1 by n2. Only then I can tell, okay, your energy density is in the terms of your Einstein coefficient. Okay, so now I will take one more
Sir, A21, no, sir, it should be.
yeah, yes, a21. There is no a12, it's always a21. Okay, a21 divided by b12. So I will just rewrite this again, and then we will see. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite the same equation. U of nu is equal to a21 divided by b12 into, you have in the bracket n1 by n2 minus b21 by b12. Okay, so that is what you get. Now what we will do is we will just want to get rid of this. So if you look into this, this is similar to something called as your Boltzmann factor. Okay, so what is your Boltzmann factor? Boltzmann factor is nothing but it is your N2 by N1. N2 by N1 is nothing but it is e to power of minus of E2 minus E1 by kT, or I can also write E2 minus E1 is nothing but it is the difference between two energy levels, E2 and E1. Okay, so normally what we do, we can always write this as E2 minus E1 is equal to H2. Okay, so that is or the it is the difference between two energy levels, and I can always use this equation E2 minus E1 is equal to H2. So I'm going to write this again as E to power of minus H nu by KT, okay, or KBT or KT. You can use anything, okay. You can use either KB or you can just use K, okay. So it is a Boltzmann constant. So that is not a problem. So now what will happen to this above equation if I use this? So I'm going to use N2, okay. I have to take one more step. I will do one more step and then I will write it, okay. So now if you I wrote N2 by N1 as e to power of h nu e to power of minus h nu by kt, but I need N1 by N2. Okay, so what is the N1 by N2? N1 by N2 is 1 divided by this entire term. So if I take this to the numerator, then it will be e to power of h nu by kt. Okay, so because it will be 1 by e to power of minus h nu by kt, but then if I take it to the numerator, then it will become just e to power of h nu by kt. So if I substitute that in this equation, so I will just use the same color. So I'm going to use instead of this entire term, so or instead of this, I'm going to use the equation that we got here. Okay, so in place of n1 by n2, I'm going to use this. So now what will happen is your therefore your u of nu will become as a21 divided by b12 into e to power of h nu by kt minus b21 by b12. Okay, so this is your equation for energy density in terms of Einstein coefficient. Okay, so we got rid of all the other things and we just keep only your Einstein coefficient, which is your B12, B21 and A12. Okay, sorry, A21. So this is your equation that you need to derive, okay, for your energy density of Einstein equation. Okay, so now is it clear up to this? Is it clear up to this? Okay, so now what we'll do is this is sufficient for derivation, but sometimes you may have to also do some more steps. That is for okay. I think I will try to do it here. So this is what Einstein derived it. Okay, so this equation was derived by Einstein. So this equation is sometimes also called as Einstein equation. Okay, so this is Einstein's equation because he derived this equation by considering all the things what we have done in the previous slide also. Okay, so you take the number of or you take the rate of induced absorption equal to rate of spontaneous emission plus rate of stimulated emission. Then you give equations in Einstein coefficients. Then you do some mathematics and you will get this equation. Okay. So this was derived previously or by Einstein. In the same way, so there is one more scientist like Max Planck. What he did is, so he also derived a energy expression for energy density in his own way. Okay, so by using the law of radiation. Okay, so in terms of law of radiation, so by using law of radiation, okay, so your Stephen also got the equation for u of nu. U of nu is nothing but your u of nu is the energy density as 8 pi h mu cube by c cube into 1 by e to power of h nu by kt minus 1. Okay, so this is the equation that Einstein, Stefan got it by using the law of radiation. Okay, so from law of radiation, he got this equation, and this equation uh, it can be again equated or it can be compared with the previous equation, which was derived by the Einstein. Okay, so now what we do is we are going to compare these two equations. So let us call this as equation number, I don't know, maybe 4, and then this is your equation number 5. Okay, so comparing these two equations, what you get is, so let me change the color. Okay, comparing 4 and 5. So what you get is, if you take this A21 by B12, so this entire term is in the outside. So I can write it as A21 by B12 equals 8 pi h mu cube by c cube. Okay, so that is this you can write like that. And in the same way, if you see the inside the bracket, so this is almost same, these two are same. And if you see again, this term is equal to 1, so I can write it as B21 by A21, sorry, A1, sorry, B12. So this I can write it as B21 by B12 equal to 1, or I can write it as B21 is equal to B12. Okay, so this is what you can get it by using both the laws. Okay, if you use these two equations, you can arrive this equation. So now you can see here, you can actually get the value for A21 and B12 and B21. Okay, so by using this, you can always mu cube is nothing but c cube by lambda cube. So then you can have the value for A21 by B12. Okay, so these things you need to remember for your some of the problems. Okay, so is it clear up to this? What I will do, I'll just recap whatever we have done.